Hello and Happy New Year. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate a new feature in Bookerville called owner contracts. If you're like a lot of our property manager clients, you probably have annual contracts that you require them to sign for the vacation rental service you provide to them. Not everybody does these, but most of our clients seem to, and a lot of the ones that don't do it, when we start talking with them about it, they indicate that maybe they should be. So the tail end of 2022, we developed this new beta feature which automates these annual owner contracts, and I would like to demonstrate it here, show you how it works, and get your feedback on it. So first I want to show you how to get to the starting point of the annual owner contracts campaign. This is in your dashboard account settings tab. Scroll all the way to the bottom and there's a new section down there. We didn't know what to call it, so it's just miscellaneous new. And there's a link in here called Manage Owner Contracts. So in here, this is really just a list of all your active properties, and it's trying to show them in workflow order, basically from top to bottom and left to right, which properties need the most attention. Also notice that you can choose the year in here. It should have at least the current year and any other previous years for which there are created contracts. So starting with your this first property, you have the setup column, the steps column, the status column, and we have some alerts in here, and I want to show you what these mean. You'll only see at most 2 of these alerts, and if you hover over it, it says property is missing the owner contract template. That's the first requirement, one of the 2 requirements. Each property must have an owner contract template. Well, what does that mean? Let's go look at it. This is the property setup page for that property. And if you go to the emails and templates tab, the top part of this is all about emails, but if you scroll down here to this section, you'll see there's a bunch of other templates with buttons to edit them. And this is the new one we added called owner contract. And if you click it, you'll see this one, indeed, it's empty. And that's why the alert icon is there. This is where you would put your custom contract text and also custom fields, which I'll show you in a bit. That will become clearer. Don't panic over this. This can get pretty technical, and we're here to help you with this. You might already have a contract either in Word document or PDF format, or maybe you're using Docusign or something like that. We can work with you to get this owner contract template set up in Bookerville for all your properties, complete with any custom fields that you may or may not want to use. Okay, but that's the first thing that needs to happen. You need that, and the other thing that needs to happen is this property has no sub-users marked as owner. Okay, and I can show you what that looks like also. If we go back to your account settings tab and scroll down to your members with permissions box, and I've already got one set up called Jane Owner. Okay, and this is beyond the scope of this video. This is a very powerful feature in Bookerville. You can set up sub-users, as many as you like, with different permissions and roles. And for this owner contract feature to work, you need at least 1 user set up for each property that has this owner box checked. This is how Bookerville identifies that user, that a user is signed in securely, for one thing, and is also marked by you as the legitimate owner of that property. Okay, you've got to have that. And again, we can help you with this, so if you have any questions or need some help with setting up sub-users, just reach out. So, okay, some of these properties at the top have some things that need to be set up for them. The first property that doesn't have any needs like that is Union Bay House. And since it's ready to go, it just has this link for you to actually create the 2023 contract using the owner contract template that we just saw. So if I click this link, it refreshes the page, and now Union Bay House is at the bottom because it's farther along than all these others now that it's got an actual contract created. And it has some extra things here. It's got a link with the actual date it was created to go and view the actual owner contract page. The status of this contract is pending. That's how it starts out. And since its status is still pending, you can delete it. Maybe, I don't know, if you see something you don't like in the contract, you can delete it, update the owner contract template, then come back and create it again. if you need to. If you click this again, then Union Bay House is back down here ready to go. So let's move on. I'm going to click this link. I'm going to hold the control key down while I click this link. This is an interesting trick if you don't know about this. If you hold the control key down while you click on a link, it will open it up in a new tab. Sometimes that can be helpful. And so this is the rendered contract, the rendered owner contract. This is the owner contract template, which we will help you set up, but with the data and any custom fields rendered in here. Now notice I'm signed in as me. I'm signed in as John Amato, and in this case, I'm like you. I'm pretending to be a property manager. And because I'm signed in as the property manager, Bookerville knows this, of course, and so this is all read-only. This is all your custom contract text. This can be whatever you want. And look, we have a custom field here. It turns it yellow when it's empty to kind of draw everyone's attention to it. That needs to be filled out. You can have custom fields with custom names, and then you can run reports on these actually to help you manage your portfolio. We'll show that probably later in some other video. But this one's a simple text field, but you can have others, larger text fields. These are date fields. I'll show you what these look like when we sign in as Jane Owner in a bit. And you can also have simple yes/no checkbox fields. Okay, and you can have as many of these as you want. Down here we have a ratification section. And notice it's letting you know that you can't fill out any of this until these 17 items are entered. And I can't do any of this anyway because I'm not signed in as Jane Owner. Right, I'm still the property manager. All I can do is look at this, review it. I can't manipulate any of this. The idea is that the owner fills these things in. And of course, I can't sign it for her either. She has to do that, right? Once Jane Owner has come in and entered all the fields and then signed it, then I, as the property manager, signed in as me, I would be able to come down here and sign it as the property manager. I'll then be able to sign it down here to complete it. And we're going to see what this all looks like in a bit. So the next step here would be to click this little email icon. And if you hover over it, it says email contract to owner. Click this. It brings up a quick confirmation telling you what it's going to go do. It's going to send an email to Jane Owner. Okay. And you click this and it goes and does it. And then when you close that pop-up, it refreshes the page. And now it shows you another little icon here. This smaller email icon with a green checkbox. If you hover over it, it says, last sent and the date and time it was sent. Okay. You can send it as many times as you want. I mean, you can do this again. You can keep sending it to them. And let's be honest, sometimes you're going to have to do that. These emails, they'll get lost, they get not delivered, maybe end up in their spam, or they accidentally delete it or whatever. You can keep sending it to them, and it doesn't keep putting these extra icons here every time. It just shows you the last time you emailed it to them. So you can tell them on the phone or whatever, yeah, I sent it to you last Tuesday at 10:24 or whatever, right? Okay, so let's go see what that email looks like. And so, yeah, this is what the email looks like that gets sent out to them when you click that button to send it. And, by the way, all these Bookerville.com email addresses will be yours, and it will be directed to them, of course, assuming you've got your SPF record set up and all that stuff. If you need help with any of that, just let us know. Also, yes, this would be your own custom header banner image, assuming you have that set up. But it basically just tells them that the new contract for managing your property, and it puts, that property name is ready for you to digitally sign. And they get a link that takes them straight to that page where they can review it and sign it. We're going to look at that in a minute. Once you have signed it, the property manager, and this would be your company name, not Bookerville, will be notified, and then they will also digitally sign it. And you'll be notified when they do this, and you can also review this in historical contracts in your own dashboard account settings tab at the bottom. And yeah, they do get notified when you, the property manager, signs it too. So they get an email about that. Okay, and so what I've done here is I've gone and signed in as Jane Owner. Okay, and so, of course, her dashboard looks very different from what yours is going to look like as the property manager. She can only see, the house that she's marked as owner for example. But when she clicks the link in that email, she's going to go to the same place that in her account settings tab. Now notice we've got a section in here for property management contracts. So she can see the history of these things. As you build these year after year, you'll see these. And she can click right on this link. Again, she's signed in as Jane, we're signed in as her. And there's a print-friendly version so they can print it or download it as PDF if they want. And again, now it's showing this contract, understanding that this is the property owner. What's different here is now, because I'm signed in as the owner, I can put values in here. So maybe I put 500 in here because I don't want any, this is all custom, right? But, for this, in this case, it's saying, no improvements, alterations, or repair work costing more than $500 should be made without talking to me about it, right? As soon as I click or tab out of here somewhere, this field is no longer yellow because it's been filled out. You can still change it. She can come back in later and change it to something else. But, it kind of works a lot like Docusign in that sense. I'm not going to put anything meaningful in here just to kind of illustrate the point. This example, they were having people enter start and stop dates for, owner block off dates. But anyway, you got to put something in here, or you can even just, maybe it doesn't apply, right? And those are sort of the two text field examples. For the date fields, when they click in here, they get like a picker. I'm just going to pick, silly dates that don't make any sense just to demonstrate what it's like. But they can put these date fields in here, right? Obviously. The checkbox fields, work just pretty much exactly as you'd expect. Again, we get some date fields here. I mean, the owner will progress through here filling out this information. And if you'll notice down here, it used to say, 17 items have to be entered. Well, it's down to 9 now because we've been entering things. And as they click through here, it counts them down. And so, anyway, they go through this. And again, I'm just going to say, whoops. They click through these things. I'm just clicking it. We're down to 2 items. Okay, now I just want you to pay attention to what happens when we click this last one. That message goes away in the ratification section. And now these fields are now open and yellow and editable, and there's a button here for me to sign it. Again, I'm signed in as Jane owner. She can't sign in. She can't sign the part down here that's for the property manager because that comes afterwards, right? She can only do what she's supposed to do here. And it asks for a social security number or ITIN. I think that stands for like individual tax, I don't know, identification number or something like that. I'm not sure. This is optional. So, if this is not something you would want to do, then you don't have to do it. And so they put in this information and they hit sign contract. And it tells them, hey, it's done. Okay. And when they hit OK here, it refreshes the page. Now, if we scroll through here now, these fields are all, you can't tell, but I'm trying to change this. It won't let me. These are all read only. Okay, she's signed the contract, so this is done. Nobody can change these values anymore. But you can read it, of course, and print it, etc. And then down here, this ratification section has changed to say, hey, you have signed this contract. Even that language, the you, have signed this, is custom because it knows, again, that I'm signed in as Jane owner. So it's just a little more custom, a little slick there, right? And we'll see how this changes when we come back in and sign in as the property manager to then finish this contract by signing it down here. Let's go take a look at what that email looks like that got sent out to both you, the property manager, and the owner once she's done this. Okay, and so this is what what you get as the property manager. You get notified that owner Jane owner, and the reason it says it like this is the member name, I think, and this is the actual like first name and last name. And in this case, it just happens to match, but a lot of times they don't. So that's why it gets specific here, just to help you understand who this is. Just letting you know that they've actually done their part and signed the contract for that house. And it gives you a link just, to go ahead and go straight to it and do your part. Okay. And so now what I've done is I've gone and signed out and back in as John Amato again, so that we're now looking at this owner contract management page, as the property manager. And so, once once anything has changed like that, when the next time you refresh this page, it's going to show you the differences. In Union Bay House, well, it's been owner ratified. That's the status now of this contract because Jane Owner signed it. You can still delete this in this state. So, and the reason for that is pretty simple. Like if they did something silly, if they put some ridiculous answers to some of those custom fields, or maybe they called you up and said they're unhappy about something, or maybe you had a falling out and whatever. Since you haven't signed it yet, you can still trash the contract. You can just delete it and start all over again, or maybe you're not, dealing with them anymore, whatever the story is, you can still delete it while it's at owner ratified state. But what I'm going to do is, click this link. Again, I did it by holding the control key down, which causes it to open it in a new tab. I just like doing it that way. And so now we're back to looking at this same contract page, but again, I'm signed in as the property manager this time. And now notice these fields are all in here. They're not yellow anymore because they've all been filled out. And of course, I can't change these anyway. I couldn't before and I can't now. And you're just going to review this and make sure that everything's okay. And then down here in the ratification section, it says, hey, this owner has signed this contract. And all the information is here, okay? And by the way, you can have more than one owner per house. Bookerville does support that. You just got to make sure that there are two separate, members with permission, sub-users we call those, that each both have that owner checkbox checked. So if you need help setting that up, just let us know. And anyway, so now because it's been owner signed, it's open, and I'm back in here signed in as the property manager. These two fields are opened up for me to edit, to put in, my name as the agent for this company. This would say, your company name here. You got to fill all that stuff out in the account settings tab, but as long as that's there, it'll put that, it'll render that here. And of course the date, and I'm going to hit sign contract. And, it's done. Hit OK. It refreshes the page. And if I come back down here to the bottom again, now whoever comes to this page, well, they have to be authorized. But, whether it's you or Jane Owner, the property owner, they're going to see something like this that shows that this is a fully ratified contract. So now if we go back to this, management page and hit refresh, this now says fully ratified, and you can't delete it, and there's no sense in emailing them anymore about it, so all that's gone. So this is done. So that's kind of the idea of this page. It's trying to show sort of the progress of these properties in this process from top to bottom, left to right, and your goal is to get all these things fully ratified. And there's some statistics down here to kind of show you how much progress you're making. And now let's go just have a quick look at what that final email looks like. Okay, so this is what the email looks like that gets sent to. Well, you both get a copy of this, but the owner, in this case, Jane Owner, will get an email that looks a lot like this. It'll say, of course, your company name, your header banner, if it's there, it would come from your address. And it just lets them know that it's fully ratified. It's all done, and then they can click to go view it and print it. And so, that's really it. For this first, this is just a 1.0 beta release of this new feature in Bookerville. So, and as with all these new features, we want to make sure everybody understands you. We really like customer feedback. Tell us what's working, what's not working. Be constructive, be polite, be patient, and we will continue to kind of hone this and make it so that it's something that's very valuable for everybody. That's what we want. But this will allow you to basically keep your owner contracts inside Bookerville so that you don't have to, print things out or use. We even have some people, snail mailing these things to clients. There's nothing wrong with that, but this is just a lot better, and should save you and your customers a lot of time. And yeah, it's just more modern, right? Thanks for watching.